Welcome. 9 new cases of critical chain implementation. Yet another one, a CapEx project for installing an MRO production line, again in aeronautics here. Fairly bread and butter for us. We do a lot of installing or moving production lines because it's a subject which there's a lot going on, right? When moving production from one country to another, from one part of a factory to another part of the factory, there's a lot of that kind of thing going on. And very often it's time sensitive. That's to say, you don't want for the transfer to take 4 months instead of 2 months when it was planned for 2 months. Otherwise, you're going to get a problem with your supply chain. Right? So we do a lot of those. In this particular case, again, it's classic. We developed the planning. Often the planning is not very well done because these are projects being done by people who are not proper professional project managers. Right? They're from people from the maintenance department and so forth. So we had to help them define the plan, what is the sequence of tasks and so forth. These sorts of things also have often both internal resources and subcontractors, had to model all that. And then off they went, had a fever chart, which you can see here. And again, perfect finishing on time, and they lived happily ever after. This other case here, something very, very different, because as you can see, for those who don't know a little bit about critical chain, that is a fairly wild ride on a fever chart to do that. And not many companies have such an exciting fever chart as this one. Please note that the 100% line is here, right? So when you're up here, you've gone 200% of the buffer, and yet they finished on time. Right, they are globally distributed, and people live all over the world. It's all done online. It's all open source. The whole thing is transparent. That fever chart you can see there, you can go to their website and have a look at it and see that part is finished there. But they are whatever they're doing at the moment. They transparently present their fever chart to everyone. And what they're doing, working at the moment a lot on distributed computing, which means using the available capacity of computers, your computer or whatever. Go and find and use excess capacity of computing power, and it's a mixture of stuff, right? There's some machine learning, some large language model training, some decentralized science projects, cryptocurrencies, because to get paid for lending your computer, you have to make sure there's a good way, safe way of paying for it. Anyway, lots of fun stuff. Really a state-of-the-art work. When they started, they had a very successful history and using Agile intensely and properly. No problems there. What they wanted was to increase the visibility that they felt they lacked with their purely Agile approach. So they implemented critical chain, identifying the different work packages to make up the deadline and track them. What explains the kind of wild stuff on the fever chart, by the way, is that when they felt they had to, they could see where they were compared to what where they wanted to end up. They could decide to change the scope to accelerate. And so there was both work done on the scope and on the operations to speed up. Priorities became very clear, and the deadline they accelerated significantly. And you can have a look. All of this is public on their